everyone. Welcome back to the Cadence Spotlight. My name is Haley, and I'm the Director of Marketing here at Event Cadence. And we created this series to shine a light on our client-facing team and the amazing work they do for our customers. Today, I have with us Arielle Smith, our President of Life Sciences. She has been here from basically the beginning, years before me, so she'll have a lot of great perspective on our product, our team, and so much more. Let's get started. It's so great to have you here today, Arielle.
Thank you for having me.
I think you're going to have some great perspectives on some of these questions. So I think let's just dive right in. First and foremost, when teams are evaluating event and engagement platforms, what do you think makes Cadence the right fit for them?
This is going to sound a little counterintuitive at first, but what I believe makes us the best fit for them is how much we actually can fit into. What I mean by that is that, especially today, accounts, companies, teams, they're all going to need something a little different. They're all going to expect a little different. Some teams have the budget for full end-to-end white glove service, if you will. Others are going to want to be completely self-managed, autonomous in the platform, and just want our support to train them on how best to use it. I think we are so interestingly positioned because we can do all of it. Depending on what their needs are, we can meet them pretty much anywhere within that spectrum. So, some people might hear that and think, oh, well, if you're not great at that one thing, how are you the best? But I would challenge that. I would say the fact that we can meet them any which way they need, I think that puts us on top.
We're definitely very malleable. I feel like we were just working on some copy for a new deck, and something we wrote, which I think really rings true, is that we're an extension of your team. And that's exactly what you were describing.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah.
So maybe that's what clients love the most about Cadence, but is there something else, or what do you hear clients say that they love the most about working with Event Cadence?
Our people. I mean, we have a really awesome platform. I was going to say a curse word, but then I caught myself. We have a really awesome platform, no doubt. I mean, we can do some really, really awesome things. At the end of the day, though, we are people working with people. And that really is what I feel like keeps our clientele coming back. They found a groove in our platform, in our space, but as I mentioned just before, like that's going to constantly evolve. Their needs are going to constantly evolve. We are not all working in this industry in a vacuum. I mean, thank God we're not, right? Because medicine wouldn't advance. So there's always going to be a change or a need for a change. So the fact that they have a human being to come back to time and time again, to not only educate them on the new things, the new features, all of that good stuff in the platform, but also be an extension of that team to say, okay, what do you need from me? What can I do? That's what keeps them coming back.
It's definitely the mix of the powerful technology with the human layer on top. I'm glad to hear you say that. That's been a pretty well-worn theme across everyone I've talked to. People always comes up, and it couldn't be more true. But on the platform side, is there something that our platform does exceptionally well that maybe when you're first working with the customer, they might not see it right away, but over time, something that really stands out?
Yes. When I'm doing demos, when I'm on discovery calls, even when I'm like, even if I'm working with an account that's contracted and I'm just kind of still involved with the onboarding or the handoff, walking through the appointment suite, and I'll get a lot more specific, but just walking through the appointment suite might seem so basic or like trivial at times. Okay, sure, I'm sending somebody an invitation to meet with me. Great. But like when you really, really get down into how we've structured that feature, that functionality, how we've coded it, how we've created the conditional logic for it. Like, it's it's so impressive. The amount of time that that platform saves our clients is, I mean, you cannot get that time back. Like, so it's wonderful that we're able to give it to them. So with that said, yes, my favorite feature now, which is brand new, I'm not sure who's spoken about it yet, but we just released segmentation. So sure, in a nutshell, when you think about segmentation, you're like, okay, duh, I can segment my meeting. But no, like, it's so much more than that. Currently, our clients would have to send multiple separate invitations to, recreate this segmentation. And then they have to stay on top of refreshing each of those segmented invites if anything changes, right? If anything needs to, a material changes, the room changes, a time changes, someone needs to swap roles in and out of that segment. You now have to manage each individual invite separately. With our platform now, we allow our account to essentially create one appointment, segment it internally within the platform, right? But then still send one seamless communication out to the KOL. Everything else is kind of happening and working behind the scenes. As simple as it sounds, in practice, it is very, very hard to do with limited time, let's say it that way. So that's something that I'm super, super stoked about whenever I get a chance to show a client that I do. And for those who give me that positive reinforcement feedback to be like, oh my God, this is amazing, I'm like, you get it, because that tells me that you're in the role of having to manage and figure all of that out. And you know how much of a time suck it is. So that's one. And then, I mean, ask customer. I mean, that's like, I feel like it's a cop out to say it, but it's so incredibly beneficial. Being able to send an invite, say whatever you want to say in that invitation, make it still very, very personal, but branded and look really polished, but then allowing the KOL to book a time with you on the spot. I mean, it's awesome. And yeah, sure, you could recreate it. You could use other platforms that could do that. But your scheduling tool isn't talking to your Calendly link or your Doodle poll link. You still have to then manually take that information and send out your invite. It's awesome that we've managed to integrate all of this seamlessly. And by the way, it goes into Outlook without you having to think or do anything. It just automatically flows. So yeah, that's something that I love personally.
The one source of truth can not be undervalued. And it's funny, most people have said the appointment suite, but everyone kind of mentions a different part of it. And it's just because our appointment engagement suite is so vast and it's growing by the minute. You just talked about segmentation. I know that's our new fancy feature, and I'm sure it will continue to grow as we hear more feedback from our customers.
I mean, you and I were just on site at a conference, and we're starting to learn a lot more about the the qualitative side of these engagements, right? Like, how do I qualify this particular moment in time rather than quantify it? Another thing I would say is insight gathering. We are just releasing a new feature of ours, still an appointment feature, but it's a way to qualify a meeting where these attendees now can, be giving their feedback on how an engagement went. Like, did it hit the mark? And all of these answers, right, are structured in a way that they're rolling up into a larger reaching goal or objective. So it becomes super simple for an account, for a company, to run a quick report for Q1, for the first half of the year, whatever it might be, to say, are we hitting the mark with these engagements with our KOLs, right? Or where are we falling flat if we're not? That is also one that I'm like keeping my eye on quite a bit, and I'm super excited for it. Frankly, we just got to get more activity in there. I want to see how people are are using it in real time, because it could honestly steal the show as an appointment feature goes. We just have to see where it goes.
100%. I'm sure as it rolls out this year, we'll have a lot of great examples. But we've talked a lot about features, so I would love to hear, the features in action. So is there any recent congresses or any case studies where you think that Event Cadence has really made a difference for one of our clients?
The one that stands out in my mind that I like to go back to is a case study that we ran for a client of ours that has very, very high touch meetings with leadership specifically. So they're just kind of like in a bracket above these other engagements that are kind of keeping the business moving. Anyway, this organization was curious about, how successful, useful, important, you name it, what are we getting out of these engagements, right? Are they doing for us what we think they're doing? So the case study that we did, where we really we put our focus into just kind of looking through and extracting the information around just that subset of engagement, and then kind of querying the feedback that we also asked from those KOLs specifically, right? Like, was the intention behind this meeting matched? Did you leave this meeting? Did you go into the meeting? And did you leave the meeting feeling like what was said or promised to you from this type of engagement, was that met? Kind of, yes or no. And then how does that stack up against our competitors? Other companies in the space who might be doing somewhat of a similar thing, how do we compare? So to be able to provide them like very clear detail of, you came in 79th, 79th percentile or whatever it was incredibly beneficial. And it was also eye-opening for us too, because we learned a lot. We learned how, we can make enhancements and tweaks and changes to our own platform and our services for that matter, to be more efficient, right? Or to make the experience better, whatever it might be. But that was probably my favorite example that we've done thus far. The other thing I'll say is we got 100% response rate. Now that in and of itself might not be that surprising, because you're dealing with the top leadership. So, maybe naturally KOLs want to meet and vice versa. But diving into that 100% response rate came the rate of response, right? How quickly did we hear from that KOL? And did we have to follow up before we received confirmation that they would interact with us in this way? And how many of those KOLs also then had other engagements with other areas of our business? And how were those other engagements, how did they evolve, or how did they play a role with this higher level engagement, if that makes sense? So anyway, we went in on a lot of different angles, and I think we learned a lot from it.
It goes to show too that every company looks at success a little bit differently, but when you have powerful technology behind you, you really can measure a lot of these metrics. So, that's what was important at that time, bringing that information to leadership and to the organization. And, when you layer in technology like ours, we really can team up to create some great case studies to prove, ROI for your organization. And then also it's helpful for us to make the platform even better in the future.
Yep. Agreed.
Great. Well, we'll just keep on moving on. So I have a question about the team, the Event Cadence team. So it's a good time to talk about it because I know everyone's pretty deep in ASCO planning. But is there something that we do as the Event Cadence team that maybe the client doesn't see that it's behind the scenes, but makes a difference to our clients? Like, what makes our team stand out? What kinds of things that we do?
Keep this in mind. I'm giving my perspective now, kind of like one step removed from the accounts team. My focus primarily is on the discovery sales side, but I did mention that there are still some accounts that I have kind of a foot in the door, so to speak, in terms of onboarding and account managing. So I feel confident enough to answer. My answer might just be maybe different if you were speaking directly to an accounts team member. But I mean, going off of the earlier comment to we are an extension of their team. I mean, I truly feel like every single one of us operates with that framework in mind. This isn't a client vendor relationship. This is a partnership relationship. Even that shift in perspective changes things. So I would say what I have seen kind of come across my inbox, or if I'm on a call, I've seen so many of our team members just go the extra mile when they don't necessarily have to, right? It's not written in the contract or within scope necessarily, but it feels like the right thing to do because it's well within our bounds, or even if it's not well within range or bounds, it's still something achievable for us that at the end of the day is going to make our client happy or save them time or just basically have a positive reaction to it. So, I would say these little moments of going above and beyond, like just quick high level example, at the end of each Congress, reporting is a massive, everybody's going to want to know, okay, we firmed everything up, everything's concluded. Now I have to take all of our numbers and I need to repurpose those numbers into a visual so that I have something to show for it, right? That looks so different across every account. Every account's going to have a different template, a different way of showcasing the information, want different information. So the account leads, the account team spend a pretty significant amount of time working through what those needs or requests are, but then doing it in a way that's like, yes, of course, we're going to use like the graphs and the dashboards and the templates that like our own platform will spit out and give you, but they're going to brand it for our accounts. They're going to reformat it in a way that they know it will save their leads time on their end if we just kind of do it for them. So it's like little things like that I don't know. That's what I think makes us stand out.
Our team definitely goes that extra mile, and you can tell that each team that we've built around each account, they're really advocates for their team too.
Yeah.
Like sometimes there's a bit of crossover, team members working on different accounts, but for the most part, when teams are built, it is to build out that one specific account. So they get to dive in, learn what works, learn what doesn't, and then, like you said, go that extra mile to build that trust with their account. And I think that does go a long way.
I will share something. I have a better answer.
Okay.
And okay, now that you just said that, it put it in my mind. Okay, so very quick for the audience listening. I run a meeting with all of our account leads, which usually falls on, it's a cadence of every 6 weeks. So every 6 weeks we get on, and I ask the account leads to come prepared to advocate for their own accounts. If their accounts need something, if you feel that there's something we could be doing better within the platform to put it in the roadmap, to get it pushed through, come advocate for it, give us the why, and then we basically all vote together as to how to prioritize those needs to hand it off to product and development to start working. Well, what you just said is like the perfect example of that. all of our account leads come prepared and they really go to bat for their accounts. Like, really. Like, it doesn't get heated because we all love each other and have a great relationship, but like people are really serious about like my account needs this. Like, what do I need to do to get this pushed up the priority list or whatever it might be? And they'll when they give the example, they'll rephrase it in a way that might get another account lead's interest peak to be like, oh, well, maybe I need that too. It's really, really interesting to be a part of that and watch that. I don't get a vote in that sense because I'm not an account lead. My votes come from what I hear from the sales perspective, opportunity, potential leads, but they're all advocating for their current accounts. And they show up and they really, really take that role seriously. Yeah, I think it's great. I'm not sure how many other companies truly do that for their platform, right? To advance their platform. I don't know how many other companies are putting such an emphasis on the customer's voice to advance the product.
So true. Soundbite that's perfect. And it's the benefit of having our development in-house as well, that we can
Totally.
be nimble and change and add and all of those other things that we mentioned. So
Yeah.
that's great. I would love to be a fly on the wall in one of those meetings, see how it all goes down. Well, I just have one more question for you today, specifically about Event Cadence. I know you've been here a long while, one of the first hires at the company, years before me. So I would love to know on a personal level what you love about your role or what you love about working at Event Cadence.
But I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, I love this company. This company has gotten me through a lot in my own personal life, and I just feel really connected to the product and the team and what we do in general. What I love about my current role right now is I feel like I have such a voice, a loud one at that, to really drive the direction of what we're doing. And I don't take that lightly by any means. I am constantly kind of cross-checking myself against what other team members think or feel about certain directions. But I love the fact that I have that autonomy or the space to work in. And I just think where we sit right now with technology and where we sit with medicine is just a really interesting, place to be right now. There's so many directions that we could go, which is exciting.
So exciting. I agree. And we definitely would not be here without you. So thank you for all that you do for the company. And if you're listening to this and you would love to learn more about Event Cadence, you can always find us on our website, eventcadence.com, or reach out on any of our social media pages. So thanks again, Arielle, for joining us today.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
I'll see you later. Bye.